I'm gonna go to sleep.
okay.
Yeah. Just let me know. Have you seen anything? I'm gonna ask my cousin to send you something because it was in the news and the paper. I think it's an article on it. Okay, we're live. Anybody watching?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Sugar Cipher. I have the privilege of sitting and chatting with Shadow. Today we are going to talk about his brother, Ronald Anthony Smith. I don't want to get too much into it because I want him to tell his story. His sister was supposed to be here as well, but she's not feeling well, so Shadow is going to hold the interview for them both. So, what's up, Shadow?
Nothing much.
How are you?
Doing all right. Surviving.
Going on?
Yes.
Okay. And as you know, my platform is for the motorcycle community. He's a member of Squibbers. If you know him, he don't really talk that much. But this is something that's very close to him, and he would very much like to tell his story. He don't want his brother's life to be in vain, nor the situation. The family don't really like the way it's being handled, so he want the audience to pretty much know what's going on with his brother. So, I mean, introduce yourself.
How you doing? My name is Shadow of Square Biz, as she said. My government name is Richard Smith. And on
April 7th.
April 7th, I'm sorry. On April 7th, my brother was struck by an NYPD paddy wagon van during transport of, I guess, we would consider a criminal. And they killed him and dragged him 35 feet on the hood of the vehicle. Once the driver realized he hit somebody, he stopped the van and only did minimal life-saving, one-handed compressions to try and save his life, which was actually nothing. As you can see here.
Where was this? Where did this take place?
Eastern Parkway.
Eastern Parkway and I believe Schenectady.
Brooklyn.
Don't hold me to that, in Brooklyn. Yeah, it was a tragic loss, but if you looked it up or saw it on the news, it wasn't but nothing but a small blip on the news, which enraged us because this is a human life that was taken.
Right.
Unfortunately, when it comes to our people, that's what happens.
Yes.
They don't show it as much as they should because most likely because they know the response we will get. But unfortunately, when it is other races, they show it over and over again.
Right.
Like the young man in Florida, the news reporter that got killed by the young black man. They had maybe a 10-minute segment on that gentleman's life.
Right.
Why isn't that the same for minorities?
Right.
Another thing is we want to see that the officers that did this deed prosecuted and fired, and what's the other word I'm looking for? Prosecuted, fired, and
I wish I knew the terms.
oh man, prosecuted, fired,
Indicted.
There you go. That's the word. Indicted, prosecuted, and then fired. But not only fired, they need to be fired where what they did follows them in their career. Unfortunately, a lot of officers that happen to get fired end up working in other states where they can do this again. That shouldn't be allowed.
Right.
If we were working somewhere, let's say you worked at Walmart, if you do something drastic on the floor or disrespect a patron of the store, that follows you. You can't get hired at Target, you can't get hired at Costco's, you can't get hired at BJ's. So why is it okay for these officers, if they do get fired, allowed to go to another state and work?
Right.
It shouldn't be that way. They should have to find a regular, normal job.
You said that one, when you and I were talking, you said that one was suspended?
One was suspended,
No.
one was on desk duty, and the other one is back on the street.
Okay.
So they say. We don't know. We don't go into the precinct. So we don't know. For all we know, they could both be back on the job.
And how did you get this information?
From our lawyer and from our the lady that's handling the case. What is her name?
Did you guys yet file?
Yes, we filed a petition and we're still dealing with the situation, but we're having issues with the District Attorney General's office, Letitia James. Anytime, first time we went up there, we asked them tons of questions, which they would give us no answers. So we felt it necessary to do a press conference, which we did last week.
Right, the vigil.
To try and push the case ahead. It's been almost a year now, and we're not getting any answers, and they're not doing what they're supposed to do. That department was designed and built for them to help the people in these situations.
Right.
Yet they're not giving out any information to us. They're not. He said as long as there's an investigation, they can't give us answers. Yet the previous
Attorney General.
The previous Attorney General had no issues giving out information to families. But we're being blocked now with this group of people at every step of the way. So
what about the video? I think on the flyer, the second page, the only thing that was released to the family was the video of what happened. Is this a street camera? What type of?
We have multiple views. We had a street camera. We got a house camera. There was videos from the officers' body cameras,
Okay.
which only shows about a minute and change. But for 30 seconds, they tell us that there's no sound, so you can't really hear nothing in the beginning. So we don't even know if they. Most people, when you hit somebody, you say, "Oh shit, I hit."
Right.
Excuse my language.
No, it's fine.
You be like, "Oh my goodness, I hit something."
Right.
Or "Oh, I hit."
And
we
he
don't
was
know if that was
he
that.
was on the hood.
On the hood, the driver's side hood of the vehicle.
They hit him so hard that they knocked him out of his sneakers. In the video, you can see his sneakers going two different directions while they keep going.
For another 30
How do you not know that you hit somebody? Where if you hit a squirrel or a stick in the street,
dog.
you know.
You feel it.
But they didn't know that they hit somebody.
We have Snow's wife working the camera, and she is. You can tell that they're livid. You know what I mean? I had a family member. I don't remember the year, but I remember it was Thanksgiving time. My aunt Maria Espada was also hit by a paddy wagon. Same thing, and the side view mirrors hit her in the back of the head because they were speeding down. I think it was Atlantic Avenue, downtown Brooklyn, and there was nothing. There was no footage. There was no anything. It was just that we had to bury my aunt. You know what I'm saying? We lost somebody who we loved. But then later on, there was a settlement from New York City. Why? You know, and these are things that are swept under the rug because we don't know the right people, or we're not our color is not the same as the people, then it's overlooked. And it's sad. It's really sad because you lost your brother. How old was he?
My brother was, I believe, 52.
He was
at the
52
time.
years old.
Yeah.
Do we have children? Did he have
No,
children?
he didn't have the opportunity to have children that we know of, at least. But no, he didn't have it. See, my brother was first. I'm going to be honest about my brother. My brother had his issues, but he wasn't a bad person. Okay, and he lived his life the way he wanted to live it. He wasn't the type of person that was a homebody. He liked being in the streets, but he was not a homeless person. He had his own apartment.
Is that what they said about him?
Yes.
Is
As
that-
soon as it happened, that's the first thing they put out, that he was a homeless man that was struck by NYPD.
Okay, well, you know that they had to do that to pretty much cover themselves, but so they made it seem like he was about nothing.
Yes.
Basically, yes.
Okay.
So, I'm sorry, it's a little difficult to discuss.
Anthony was a great person. Anthony is how we called him. He would take his jacket off to give it to somebody else,
Right.
knowing that he doesn't have another one at home.
Right.
He would give the last dollar in his pocket if he knew you needed it. He would go without. He was very loving and caring.
Right.
Like Shadow said, he had his own issues, but he was loved. He had a family, and he was a great person.
Issues or not, you're still a human being.
Exactly.
And you don't deserve to die in in the manner in which he did. No matter what type of, we all have issues, and most of us hide it well.
Yes.
Okay, but that does not, determine the way I go out of this world. So I know it's upsetting for you. I had no idea you were going through this until we had a conversation not too long ago, and then I saw you guys post some stuff. So my condolences to you and the family. I'm sorry that it's been this long, and I wish I knew the right people. I have a friend who's an attorney, and she has, a lot of connections, so I will be talking to her. But out of respect of you guys having counsel, you can't really,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Counsels like that. Yes.
Right. So it was kind of hard for her. Although, let me tell you, she is for the people. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of attorney she is. She was raised in different projects, so she is about her people. Her name is Keisha Whitaker. So look her up. But because of that, she, out of respect for your counsel, she didn't want to come on. So, but let's yes.
Also, it's a sad group that we're a part of. Nobody wants to be a part of this group. And more often than not, this keeps happening. The other day, it was on the news that another vehicle hit a young lady and killed her in, I believe, was it in Queens? Was it?
I think so.
A police vehicle?
Yeah. And they killed the young lady. Before that, not too long, I think it was another week or two before that, a van had killed someone else. But it's just something that's happening too often. And we as a people, we get caught up in our lives where we don't really pay attention to this type of stuff.
Exactly.
But one day it could be your relative, it could be your child, it could be your anyone. It could be anyone at any point in time. Because a lot of these guys, at the end of their shift, they're rushing to get to the end of their shift or rushing to get back to the precinct to sign out. And they're causing problems on the road. And they're using their lights as an excuse to do it. Sometimes I see them early in the morning when I'm dropping my kids off, rushing to Dunkin' Donuts or rushing to Starbucks to get coffee. That shouldn't happen.
At the end of the day, they're human just like us. You know what I'm saying? So the hustle and bustle of life is the same. Just because you're a police officer, it don't make it any different or excusable of how you go about things.
But they abuse their authority.
Absolutely.
At every turn and every junction. There's some that don't get me wrong, there's some that don't. But in my neighborhood, I've seen a lot of them that do. And they're rushing around the neighborhoods and they're going to end up hurting more people. And if we as a people don't do something to make them realize what they're doing is wrong and realize that they shouldn't be doing these things, or at least indicting them so that they have to pay for their consequences of what they do, they're just going to keep doing it, and more people are going to keep dying. And that's why I wanted to come on Sugar's podcast today to express that, because we are too, like I said, we're too busy with our own lives and what we're doing that we don't realize that this is going on. Or we'll see it on the news and be like, oh, that's sad. No, don't just take it as being, oh, that's sad. We need to organize and do more to help our people so this doesn't keep happening.
What can the motorcycle community do for you? Do you have a petition, that we can sign? Do you have, you know what I mean? Is there anything that we can do in numbers? Because you know that we are numbers.
Yes.
And if we come together, you know what I mean? We're a strong force.
As of right now,
So
there's
what
no
can we do?
petition.
Okay.
There
When you
are
went to go do the vigil, though,
Yes.
what was the goal for that?
to get the Attorney General to move her feet and
nothing-
give the family some answers.
And nothing happened.
And the move to indict, prosecute, and
Yes.
fire these officers.
Now, the night before, she did send an email to the family, supposedly giving answers. There were no answers. Basically, all she said is that it's still under investigation and that hopefully it'll be closed sometime in the spring.
Okay.
That's not answers.
Okay. So again, this is what I'm saying. She has, so she have an email. I'm sure she have a telephone number. You know what I'm saying? Where if we all begin to say the same thing, because one thing I learned in life is that the squeaky wheel will only get heard.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So if we make some type of noise, then
Right.
maybe she'll move her feet a little faster. So
Well, what the community cannot honestly do is, if that's the case, then what they can do is send emails to her and tell her she needs to move her foot. Tell her she needs to do what she was hired to do. Help the families of those that were injured or murdered by NYPD. Because that was her job, and that's her job in that department. That's what it was developed for. So if people want to send emails to her, I don't know her email offhand. You
Can
can
you
look
get
it
that?
up.
I'll get,
Please,
and I'll send it to you.
because then I can post that.
Not only that, I have some links that I could send you of different
Please.
articles
Mhm.
and whatever, just to get the story out there more to the
Yeah.
population.
Yeah.
That might help.
Just flood her offices with emails.
Yeah.
Just
So I mean,
flood it.
and that's what I'm saying. Like, if we just get together, it's a lot of us. It's a lot of us, and this community, once we come together, we make noise.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, and as the case go on, if there's something that we can do to help you ride up to wherever, you understand, we're here for you. I know a lot of people is going to be shocked that you're even dealing with this because they see you, you know, here and there, whatever the case is. But in life, you just have this face. You know, you just live your life in spite of what's going on. But now that you're making it known to us what happened, how it happened, and one police officer you said was watching a hockey game,
Soccer.
soccer. It was a soccer game.
Yes.
So, and that was proven because on the article that you showed me, there's a picture of it. So come on. So please get me her name, whatever information that you can get me.
Well, it's
so I can give-
Attorney General Letitia James.
Okay.
That's her name.
Okay.
I'll see if I can get the email and stuff, and I'll forward it to
Okay,
you.
please, so that we can do that. Because, I mean, that's easy, an email, a phone call, or whatever, but if we all do it, then she'll know that not just you and your family, you and your sister, and your wife, and your children, and the other family, but your other family got your back. Okay, so let us do that for you to help you. Something we got to do something, and this is what you wanted. You wanted it to get out there. It's gonna be out there. Let's get the community to start making some phone calls to help you out. And you never know. There's always somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody.
Yes.
You know.
Definitely.
So that can probably help as well. Is there anything else that you want to share? I mean, I know it's hard to talk about.
No, I just want to let people know that, like I said, one day this could be one of your relatives. Honestly, at the end of the day, everybody's goal is to get back home.
Right.
And the way they're going about doing business and how they treat people afterwards, after such incidents happen, it's not right. It's
Yeah.
just not right, and there needs to be more done. There needs to be more pressure put on the department that's supposed to be helping the people. Instead, it looks more like they're trying to help NYPD.
Well, you know the
You
best
know,
of
so-
happen. They're gonna look out for theirs, and I'm asking the motorcycle community to look out for ours because he needs us to make some noise for him. So if we can do that, I would appreciate it if we can get some annoying emails, phone calls, or whatever out there.
One last thing, our mayor, when he was running for mayor, Adams, came to a
I
lot
got
of
so much backlash for
came a
even
lot of different.
supporting that, but I live in Nassau County.
Oh.
But yeah.
he came to a lot of the different motorcycle clubs to
Yes,
get
he
votes.
did. Yes, he did.
So since Mayor Adams came to our clubhouses to get votes, and a lot of us may have voted for him, we need to put pressure on him to make that department do what they're supposed to do.
Right.
Okay, because
He hasn't
they're
said
not-
boo.
He hasn't said a word about the situation or nothing. You know,
But when there
But
are
when they want our
incidents, he's the
votes.
first one there.
of course.
He's the first one there, but he wasn't there for this one.
No. So I just want, if he listens to the podcast or if it gets back to him,
I actually
he
know somebody
definitely
on
needs to.
my sugar-free page that know him very
Okay.
well. So I'm gonna send him this as well.
He needs to put some pressure on Letitia James to get this done.
Yeah, I
Because
actually.
the family's the one struggling from this. And like I said, that department was built and designed to help families. It wasn't built and designed to help NYPD.
Have you learned a lot more than what you knew before this happened with your
I
brother?
wish I didn't, but I did.
Okay.
I really learned a lot of how the criminal system and how the system in general works, and how slow they are, and how everything is so tedious when it comes to these type of situations. I don't mind it being 10 and a half years if we get the results we need, or if we can get answers to what we're asking. But when you go 10 and a half months of asking questions and getting nothing in return, it seems like nothing's being done.
Yeah.
On their end.
And especially because they already have him pinned out to be some troubled person, or
And he wasn't that.
or
He
a
wasn't.
nobody. You know what I mean? So it pretty much gets swept under the rug. But he was somebody. He was a light.
Yeah. And even if it was a troubled person, let's say it was a homeless person, either way, that homeless person still has a family.
And that's your
Just
brother.
because they live in the street does not make them any less important to somebody. Because when that family finds out that that homeless person has passed, they're gonna cry, they're gonna mourn, they're gonna still have to deal with a funeral arrangement. They're gonna still have to do things. So to just label somebody as homeless and sweep it under the rug is totally disregardable to that person's life.
And disrespectful. And disrespectful. It's disrespectful. But to cover their asses, that's what they will portray.
Yep.
It's unfortunate.
And
It's
we had
very
such a hard time trying to get his body from the city. We had to jump through so many hoops just to get his body from the city. We finally got it. My sister got it, I think, like 3-4 months after the situation.
What?
Yeah, it was
It
summertime.
took a while for us to get the body.
It was summertime.
Why?
It was just a big thing with them. I don't know. Honestly, you would have to
Because
ask
their
my
police
sister.
truck hit somebody. They
but
kept his body for 3
they
to
kept
4
it-
months?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yep. So not only did we have to grieve even more for those 3-4 months because we didn't have the body, there was no closure for my sister. All my sister wanted really was the body. All this extra stuff that's coming after it, she's involved in heavily, but her main thing was getting the body, and they gave her issues at every turn just to get the body. Just to get the body.
Wow.
Not to mention all the stuff that he had while he was wearing managed to disappear.
Yes, all his belongings that were on his body.
His diamond earring he had in his ear, gone. His clothes, everything disappeared. We had no idea what happened to it. We haven't gotten anything to this day, or any notification as to what happened to his belongings. So, I mean, like I said, the city is just, at the end of the day, honestly, the city's grimy. When it comes to situations like this, the city is very grimy. And they will do you dirty if you allow them to.
Yeah.
So, what I would like to say is, if anybody is in this situation right now, going through this situation, stay on their neck. Stay on them. Because the minute you lack
You let up.
or let up in any way, shape, or form, they're going to try and push it under the rug. Stay on them. Stay calling your lawyers. Stay calling whatever.
What about your attorney? Is he doing?
Yes, he's
What's he doing?
definitely doing what he's supposed to do. What is his name? His name is... I'm sorry. I'll get that in a second. There.
And if they Google your brother's name, they can read his article.
There you go. The Civilian Complaint Review Board. That's what they are. That's who we're dealing with. And then we also have a lawyer. Lawyer's name is... Oh, here we go. We're also dealing with the Justice Committee. What's her name? Loida Cologne.
Right.
She's very good. She's been fighting with us every step of the way for us to get answers.
Okay.
If you saw the news, that was the little short, light-skinned lady that was talking. Yeah, and
Did anybody come out when you guys were doing the vigil that night?
yes,
Did
there
they
were
come
other
out?
family members of people that went through the same thing that came out and supported us. So I mean, there was a little showing of support.
Let me tell you something. I remember I worked with Sean's Bell mom, Valerie Bell, and what they did to make noise, they stood outside the precinct 50 days, 50 nights. I couldn't do the whole thing with them, but I believe I did 2 nights with them, where the family, the friends, took turns in lawn chairs, cots, outside in the cold, they brought hot chocolate to us, you know, throughout the night. But it was 50 days, 50 nights where they stood outside to get noise. And you know that case. Everybody knows that case and how everything went down. But again, the police. You know what I'm saying? It all boils down to police. My aunt getting hit by the paddy wagon truck. The police. And of course they're going to sweep it under the rug, but again, we have to make some sort of noise, you know? I wish your sister was here because she seemed like the firecracker. She seemed like the firecracker, but she's not feeling well. So, I'm my condolences again. I'm sorry. It is my honor to sit here with you so that you can tell your story on my platform. I'm going to download the video on YouTube so that you can share it with your family, your friends, and have them post it so that they know, because if you don't ask, you won't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The details. I didn't know that they hit him and he was on top of the truck. You know? I didn't know that. So these are the and then we were talking off air, and I found out some more stuff. But it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. So again, my condolences to you and your family.
It becomes a lot. It becomes a lot. And a lot of people might think it's about money. It's not about the money. It's not about the money. The fight is about justice and about changing the way the system handles situations or changing the way these officers are running the streets.
Right.
It has nothing to do with that, because right now we're trying to fight for a criminal case. Any settlement that comes will probably be in a civilian lawsuit, if there is even one. So, I mean, it's more about the loss of life and the fact that they do this too often to too many families.
Right.
Too many families go through this,
Right.
which I didn't even know. I mean, I'm the type of person that will see it on the news and we'll discuss it, my wife and I, and be like, wow, that's messed up.
Yeah.
Like other people do, and you know,
But you
like
never
what happened
had-
in, what's that, Missouri? Or Minnesota? Was it Missouri where the young black kid
Well,
was
they
killed
beat
by
him
the
to death.
4 officers? That was messed up. We was like, oh, that situation was messed up. But at the end of the day, we never actually took it to heart. But now that you see other families are going through this, and now it's you personally, like I'm personally going through it, it's sad. Now I know what that family's going through. I really do. And it's just sad.
Is there anything you want to add, Snow?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. Is there anything you want to tell our listeners before we go?
Keep tuning into Sugar's Cypher. Enjoy it. Listen to it. It's not only about the motorcycle community.
It's
It's
our
also
lives.
about very important discussions and situations that are going on in the world. So please tune in and be a part of it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Shadow, for allowing me to sit and talk with you and
No.
sharing your story.
Thank you for doing this. It's something that needed to be discussed and needed to be done.
Yeah, but let me give you a hug. I'm so sorry, but thank you guys for tuning in. Please get the word out there. I'm gonna post the information so that you guys can either email, call, or however to contact. What's her name? The James lady.
Letitia James.
Letitia James. Also, Eric Adams. We might as well get it flowing to him too as well. So
Yes.
we're gonna do that. I'm gonna have that posted on my page. Please, when you see Shadow, give him a hug, an extra pound, because him and his family is going through it. So, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good night. Cypher. You can end the baby.